The following is a case study regarding biosolids in Kern County. Take a look at the following clip and some of the video on the different areas you can research around biosolids. What do you think are some of the things that we need to think about when we have biosolids in Kern County, and some other things we should probably be thinking about when it comes to environmental impact? What suggestions would you have and recommendations?
Solutions. We need people like you that care and are interested, but we've got some environmental issues we have to deal with. So as we talked about last time, we don't think about oftentimes what happens when you flush the toilet, but that presents an environmental issue. And up until the 1970s, we threw it in the ocean. We had a pipe that would run outside of the ocean, and in Los Angeles in particular, it's well documented, where the waste would go out in the ocean, and then it started coming back in with the current, so they got a longer pipe, and it went out even further. That was their solution. And truly, until the 1970s, that was the acceptable method to dispose or get rid of human waste. And we all understand the reasons why, right? We have not only just, as she says, it's gross or it smells, but there are significant disease transmission issues that we have to worry about. Well, we realized that that was just killing everything in the ocean. And you now know that. You wouldn't even second guess that. You would never do that in today's world. But that was the acceptable practice. So you heard about the EPA, and that was one of your answers. They came out with some rules that said, you know what, that's not the best thing to do. We need to find a better, more environmentally friendly way to dispose of it. So you got any guesses on what we did next? Not fertilizer yet. We went to a landfill. So then they would take all of the water out of the waste, which was most of it, and then take the solids that were left and take it to a landfill. The problem is, it quickly started filling up the landfills, and it presented all kinds of environmental issues. Not only if you live even near it, but just the concerns about putting all that waste on the ground and letting it percolate through, because that's what was happening. So then they said, no, we can't do that anymore. We got to find a different, more responsible way to deal with this. So what started to happen was, and we noticed it first in the mid-90s, especially in Kern County, and we oftentimes get the brunt of a lot of what happens in Los Angeles because of our close proximity and our cheap property, our cheap land. So we started seeing trucks come up from Los Angeles, and they were dumping, I should say, this black material that farmers called fertilizers, except they weren't growing anything on it. They were dumping it in the desert. Wow. We said, what is this? I've never seen this. And they gave a fancy new name that was called Biosolids. That's a nice, polite way to say what it was. And so we quickly became concerned, because what is that being used? Is it another landfill that's being created? So rules started to get developed even locally, and we created an ordinance in Kern County. And we said, we don't like this. You've got to have some controls. You've got to make sure it's safe. And so we created some rules. The Board of Supervisors passed some rules, and we were okay. But then more and more started coming in, and pretty soon it was overwhelming. There's a site off of 119, Highway 119, that has more than 7,000 acres that was purchased from the city of Los Angeles. The city of Los Angeles bought land in Kern County and decided to start bringing up their biosolids to your backyard. And it was now called fertilizer, and they started to grow stuff on it. And that became a concern. And in fact, it was so bad, we started doing, so somebody have their phone out? Get your phone out. Don't hide your phone. I know you've been hiding it. Show it. So here's the deal. Here's how much they've been depositing. So somebody do the math for me. You need to put in 165,527. 165,527. That's how many wet tons. Now, you're missing a digits. 165,527. 527. Oh my. See, she's got it. Okay, so it was 165,000 tons of biosolids was coming into Kern County.
So, moving forward with biosolids, we have definitely a lot of different biosolids coming into Kern County. The question becomes, what other things do we need to know about biosolids I pull out to a couple of the EPA websites and a history of Kern County and biosolids, some things for you to investigate further. A couple more things about biosolids. If you decide to take this on as one of the things that you want to research further, I suggest you go to the EPA website, research on evaluating concentrations of endocrine disrupting chemicals in biosolids, sewage sludge. And you can look at the use and disposal of biosolids. And one of the big things that they're worried about and they're testing for are these things called endocrine disruptors. These are chemicals that disrupt the endocrine system. Think of your endocrine glands, hormones, and chemicals that can come in and actually disrupt that. Now, the other caveat about this is also air pollution. They're monitoring air pollution too. But if you're wondering what are biosolids, Matt Constantine did a good job of describing that, of taking the moisture out, and then biosolids are the concentrated remains of the feces, human feces, that are then redistributed onto fields. Now, one of the other things too is that they're also doing endocrine disrupting chemical research, and they're looking at how it impacts. Now, besides the research around endocrine disruptors and some of the things that they're still trying to figure out, if you look at this, one of the reasons why this is also one of those things that Kern County didn't want to have. They had LA was coming in, as Matt Constantine was talking about, was coming in and dumping their feces, human feces, biosolids in Kern County. But there were a couple we had to measure. We tried to stop it legally, and then we weren't able to. But here, beyond that, if you listen to the case study, you also hear the trucks coming in that are delivering the biosolids. So if you decide to take this on and you want to look at it further, I want you to do two things. I want you to first look at the endocrine disruptors research and look into that further. And then also do some history fact finding on, and the background actually is really interesting on how Kern County, why they didn't want this here, and the battle that went on for a while with Kern County and LA. And the question you might be pondering is, why don't we do it again? What could make it different? What are your thoughts on this issue on biosolids, or any other the environmental issues that are surrounding the transport of biosolids into Kern County?